Motion Brand Design, Lesson 1. Today we start the full process from scratch by creating a conceptual brand named BELÖ. In this video, you'll learn the best way to select and test fonts that are optimized for motion. Choosing proper fonts is important because it's the intersection where the brand identity process meets motion. If you select the wrong fonts, you run the risk of making these 3 critical errors, which can ruin your entire project. I'm going to show you where to get fonts and what to watch out for when choosing them, so you don't make the same mistakes I did. I'm Kay Wu, a motion brand designer based in Manchester. I build motion-first identities for brands that move with purpose. My goal on this channel is to show as many brand designers the strategies behind adding motion to brand design. Pay attention and follow my screen closely as we walk through the best way to select fonts optimized for motion. And if you want to learn even more about typography rules that covers brand design, grid systems, typographic layouts, and choosing fonts that weren't covered in this video, check out the link in the description for an extended guide where I did an even deeper dive. First off, you might be asking, why does fonts matter? To answer that simply, when it comes to motion, we need to be able to read what's on screen while it's moving. And in terms of brand design, you must select a font that fits or conveys the brand's story. Understanding this means motion will influence the typefaces we select for our brand's visual identity. As motion brand designers, our motion process begins while choosing fonts for the brand, not by jumping right into After Effects. That is the wrong approach, usually done by animators who didn't have a choice in the typeface selection or development of a motion brand strategy. We'll go through how to develop a motion brand strategy in a later video. With this in mind, let's apply that thinking to our concept brand named BELÖ. Some of you might say BELÖ. Either one is fine with me. Knowing that we'll be adding movement to this brand, the fonts we choose will matter. I've been saying fonts as well as typefaces. What's the difference between a font and a typeface? Aren't they the same thing? Well, not really. A typeface, or type for short, represents the design family, such as Helvetica. This includes all the variants of sizes, styles, and weight. While a font, on the other hand, which is the most commonly used term, represents the child or family member, such as Helvetica Bold 12-point. This focuses on one specific size, style, and weight. In casual settings, these terms can be interchanged. So if you hear me saying both, you know what I mean. Oh, another thing. I also mentioned typography, which is the art of arranging type. This includes design choices and decisions. For us, these decisions will be informed by using a grid system. Grid systems are briefly covered in the extended guide linked in the description. I also recommended some great books that help as well. As we go on about choosing our fonts for BELÖ, always keep motion in mind. Remember this acronym. Type rules everything around motion. TREAM. Speaking of motion, let's have a quick look at some real-life brands that are constantly in motion, whose fonts must always remain legible while moving, throughout the world and on digital screens. Take special note of the typefaces they're all consistently choosing to represent their identities. Clips used here are for educational and commentary purposes only. All logos and trademarks are the property of their respective owners. This content is not sponsored or endorsed by any featured brand and is protected under fair use. In our first example, we observe an airplane. Think about it. A plane is always moving, taxiing at gates, taking flight on runways, etc. As motion brand designers, there's so much we can learn from simply observing our environment. Let's get in there and have a closer look at the typeface that's chosen. Leave a comment if you know what typeface this is. Remember, there's a difference between a typeface and a font. Here we have another example of an airplane. Look at the typeface that's chosen to represent this brand identity. Starting to see any similarities yet? We've now seen 3 companies, all international, using the same category of typeface, whether it be uppercase or lowercase, while in motion. What about a train, calling at various stations throughout its journey, constantly starting, stopping, accelerating, navigating? Wonder what typeface selection is used for this application. These brands all have to make design decisions to choose proper fonts that are optimized for motion. What if they chose a fancy and decorative font that was difficult to read while moving? No bueno. That could have resulted in brand confusion, inaccessibility for disabled persons, or motion brand design that totally missed the mark. Standing on the shoulders of the great designers that came before us, we must learn from their mistakes and marvels. If all of these brands use a similar category of typeface, and they all have one thing in common: movement. Then we must realize that there was a strategic choice in selecting sans serif fonts optimized for motion to represent these identities. As we now sift through looking for fonts for our motion-minded concept brand, the choice is clear, and we've got ourselves the first point on our font selection checklist. When looking for fonts optimized for motion, save yourself a huge amount of time by narrowing your search to sans serif font. Sans serif fonts are typefaces without the small decorative strokes, called serifs, at the ends of letters. Sans derives from the French language, meaning without, and is known for its simplicity, clarity, and modern appearance, which makes it great for digital screens, branding, and motion design. This will help us avoid critical error number 1: selecting fonts that are hard or impossible to read while moving. Proper fonts optimized for motion will actually have enhanced readability. That is, they will remain legible while moving, and are specially adapted for digital displays or screens. This is why most tech companies whose users will primarily interact with their products on phones, laptops, or tablets typically choose sans serif fonts to represent their identities. Think about Google, Meta, Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube, Netflix, ChatGPT. Have a look at their brand and tell me if you see any similarity. That brings us to our second and I would say most important point on our font selection checklist. Never use free fonts for motion brand design. Always source well-designed typefaces from reputable Type Foundries. You want to avoid sites such as The Font like the plague. Too many times I've used free fonts online that were not optimized for motion. Yes, at times this was due to smaller budgets, but you get what you pay for in this line of work. By following this advice, you'll avoid critical error number 2: selecting free fonts that were poorly built with too many anchor points to manage, which led to inefficient motion that was not smooth, and letter forms not aesthetically pleasing on digital screens. Listen carefully, this information is usually gatekept. Here's my recommended list of reputable Type Foundries that I've used and continue to use in my motion brand design client projects. The list is in no particular order. F37 Type Foundry. I'm a bit biased because I'm Manchester based. I'll fast forward a bit as we go through the rest of the list. Extra set. Now you can see here, this is the secret sauce as to why some designers' brands just look premium. Letters from Sweden. I strongly encourage you to have a look, go on these sites, find some nice fonts for your brands and your projects. Typography. Please forgive me, I'm pretty sure I'm butchering some of these names. Grilly Type. This is one of my favorites. They have a really good extensive catalog and variety of typefaces on this website. While we're here, this is a good time to introduce you to variable fonts. As motion brand designers, these are a game changer. It's something that foundries are coming out with recently that's really changing the design industry. These give us a lot more flexibility and versatility when adding motion to type. Kinetic typography will never be the same. Go through it, take your time, be creative, have some fun. Try these variable fonts for your projects, your passion projects, whenever you get the time. But this is really important to learn and experience and try as a motion brand designer. Order type. SM Foundry. A Typo Foundry or Adobe, it's one of those. Please, like I said, forgive me. I'm trying, these are hard. Pangram, or Pangram, tomato. On this site, they actually offer a font starter pack, which is great for beginners. And last but not least, you work for them. Those last two mentioned are pretty good if you're just a beginner, a designer just starting out. It's good to build up your assets. They have font packs, mock-ups, a lot of resources that may be helpful to you, so it's worth having a look. This is not sponsored, I'm just giving out some information. Let's quickly run through how to go about getting Adobe fonts and Google fonts. These are totally free for commercial use once you're paying the Creative Cloud subscription to Adobe, and as for Google, they're just free commercially, open source. Once you're on Google Fonts, on the left hand side, you're able to filter out each category, so you can choose a specific type of typeface. Of course, in our case, we're getting ones optimized for motion, so that's sans serif. We can select the sans serif and see which types of font they have available at that style. Here I'm looking at Roboto, which is a pretty basic typeface, and as you can see the license, it allows for commercial use free of charge. Over at Adobe Fonts, of course this is only available with your Creative Cloud subscription. You're able to choose same thing, sans serif fonts that's optimized for motion. Here we're looking at Helvetica, created by the Type Foundry monotype, which is one of the most famous type foundries in the world. And all you would have to do is just download it, add it to your library, and it's automatically available in any of the Adobe Creative Cloud software. If you stuck around this long, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you're enjoying it and learning something from the information being shared. Let's jump right into critical error number 3. Selecting fonts simply because you like it, resulting in a disconnect between the brand identity and motion identity. When searching for fonts, we must consider the overall brand strategy and motion language which we will assign to the motion sequences that we build for the brand. Font selection must match the brand's tone, voice, and overall visual identity. We must ensure that the fonts we choose enhances the brand and it doesn't distract from its core messaging. Okay, I'm going in. Wish me luck. I'm on the font. I'm going to find us a font for the brand. It's not going to be rooted in strategy. I'm going off of feeling and what I like. And I'm going to show you why this is just not the right way to go about it. This is such a pitfall and it leads to greater issues down the road. The build quality of these fonts are just not there. And that's why I recommend paid fonts from Type Foundries. I'll also take it into Adobe Illustrator and test out the font so you can see kind of what I'm speaking about. And we'll see where the placement of the anchor points are and those types of things as to why, you just don't use these types of fonts for your projects. Okay, let's see. What do we have here? Display, SG Display is the name of this font. I can see the A has a bit of a puzzle in it, if you can look good. It's a bit weird. Let's see if it has, oh, there you go. See, that it doesn't have any glyphs. Therefore, the O isn't even showing up right now. Like I said, just not a good method here. But we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it. Okay, it has the regular O. It's an interesting looking O here. But let's try it uppercase. Great. Okay, so we'll try to download this one and bring it into Adobe Illustrator. Let's go from there. Okay, once you have the font downloaded, you go and find that file. Check my download folder. No, okay, let me open it up. There it is. Okay, perfect. Now we got to bring it into our font book if you're on a Mac. So I just press Command Space to look up the font book. I can just drag and drop it right into the font book and it'll automatically be installed and ready to use in Adobe Illustrator or any program that's in the Adobe Creative Cloud. Okay, let's open up Adobe Illustrator and test out this font. Okay, we can clean off our artboard. That's not needed anymore. Simply type out the font. Let's make it a little bit bigger so we can see what we're doing. Awesome. Okay, once you have it typed out, you can search for it. SG Display, search in the contextual taskbar. That's automatically pops up. And there you go. It's simple as that. We have our font and we can now Test it out. When I have my font, it's 3 things I'm looking for: function, form, and fit. Function basically covers readability and if it can efficiently display the words at different sizes. Form is just the aesthetic, the build, the letter form, the anatomy of the type. And then fit, which means the purpose, the brand's tone, voice, personality, and then the motion language that we will be assigning for it. Okay, you just break it apart, duplicate it. Sometimes I like to play with the opacity a bit. Set things into outline mode, Command-Shift-O. Ungroup them, Command-Shift-G. That way you're able to take them apart. Command-Y gets you into the outline mode so you can see the X-ray of the letter form. And here I'm just recreating based on anchor points. So a circle can be drawn with 4 or many anchor points, as you can see. Okay, let's do it properly. There you go. 4 anchor points for a circle. But this letter form has many anchor points, so that can be problematic later on. There's something to think about. There's no hard, fast rules here. This is just guides, preferences, etc. It just helps you when it's time to make your choice for which font you want to go ahead with. So this one is Arial Black, which is more of a common font. You can see the letter forms are a lot more structured. It allows you to do things like that very efficiently. There you can go, you can see you can take the L, move it there. You can hide the entire word with it. So that's something we can do when it's time to animate. So this is why, oh look, we can take the O and make that into a B. Take the B and make it into an O. Like there's so many things you can do when it's built well. As you can see, I can just hide the entire word into one. Let's try to do it with this font now. And it's not good at all. Yeah, so just play around, go on the Type Foundries, find some font that you like, and test it out. You can spin the artboard around with Shift-H, so you can move it around. I also included some additional Type Foundries not mentioned in this video in the extended guide that's linked below. Most reputable Type Foundries will allow designers to test via trial fonts. You can simply download the font files from their website and add it to your font book for Mac or font for PC. And then in Adobe Illustrator, simply choose the font and test. The reason why I recommend paid fonts is because they're able to be used across software ecosystems. So within Adobe Creative Cloud, as well as Figma and Framer. Sometimes using just Adobe fonts or Google fonts can be limiting. When switching applications, these fonts are not available. Again, paid fonts are superior because these typefaces from Foundries usually have a bit more character or personality and features like glyphs, special formatting for paragraphs, etc. They were also created by teams of type designers who understand the anatomy of type and prime point placement of anchor points. Anchor points and the paths between them create letter forms, which are simply vector shapes. It's no different than drawing a circle with the pen tool in Illustrator or Figma. The rule of thumb is to create vector shapes efficiently by using the least amount of anchor points possible for the best outcomes. In the following example, I'm going to show you how to draw a simple circle. This can be done most efficiently with just 4 anchor points. Less is more. However, we can also draw the same circle but build it with many more anchor points. And here we can see the difference. Fonts are vectorized through the same process. The paths between 2 anchor points are Bezier curves and they're controlled by handles. Remember the term Bezier curve. That will be super important to you as a motion brand designer. We can go on and on and on, straight down the rabbit hole of how the exterior of the anatomy of type gives the font personality, or the interior determines the readability and versatility, talking about counters, stems, apertures, cap height, stroke, contrast, spacing, kerning, but I won't go too deeply into this. I'll save that for another time. Now it's your turn. You've been equipped with more than enough information as a motion brand designer to go on selecting and testing fonts optimized for motion. You know where to go to find well-designed typefaces and what to look for when choosing. You'll also avoid the 3 critical errors. Your font choices will now enhance readability and legibility while moving. They'll be well designed from reputable Type Foundries. and they will match the brand's tone, voice, and motion language. The checklist items mentioned are ways I believe you can avoid running into critical errors and level up your motion brand design. However, you're still very much in control as the creative. See these more as guidelines, not necessarily hard, fast rules. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Do you agree with the sans serif suggestion? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this type of video, please leave a comment letting me know that as well. I read all of your comments and I reply as best I can. If you're new to the channel, go ahead right now and subscribe so you don't miss any valuable information. There's so much more to be shared. And be sure to watch the next video where the motion happens. I'll reveal which typeface was selected for our concept brand BELÖ and show you the best workflow for bringing brand design into After Effects from Adobe Illustrator. That's your vector, word marks, logos, other brand elements. Don't forget to grab the extended guide from the description below. It has direct links to all of the Type Foundries mentioned and includes some bonus ones that didn't make the list. Click on the link in the description to get more tips on choosing font, book recommendations, and typography rules. That's it for this video, but up next is lesson 2 of the full motion brand design process from scratch, where I'll continue to break down how to create brand design with motion in mind. Don't be the designer who still makes static brands in a moving world. Subscribe now.